Good morning, beautiful people. So this is me without coffee. So it might be a little interesting. Who knows? Who knows? This is me without coffee. I might be a little bit more subdued, maybe a little bit less energetic. That all being said, today's live is going to be short again. Why is this? Hold on. There we go. Today's live might be a little bit shorter again today. I did one actually last night as well, so if you missed that, then definitely feel free to go to the live tab and you can check out all my past live streams. So I appreciate every single one of you. Y'all are awesome. So you know how, if you've been following this whole situation, the Wall Street Journal yesterday evening confirmed that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. His Attorney General, Pam Bondi, or people are calling her Pam Blondie because she's a blonde. They're calling her Pam Blondie. I think that's kind of a funny name, but nicknames are childish, y'all. But anyway, so she, apparently it was being reported that the Wall Street Journal discovered that she had informed Trump that he's in the Epstein files back in May. And that is huge because it's like, y'all, of course he's in the Epstein files. And for those people who might not know, he's on the Epstein flight logs. We knew that already. Also, his name appears in Jeffrey Epstein's little telephone black book. So, of all the people, you know how people used to have like a little book of all the phone numbers, how to reach people at? Jeffrey Epstein had 14 phone numbers for Donald Trump. So, yeah, I was his best friend. Anyway, all that being said, got a hair in my mouth. Anyway, all that being said, this also dropped last night after my own live stream, and I'm like, wow. But I wanted to share this all with you. Good morning, Agicha. And sorry, I've not had any coffee this morning, so I'm going to try not to yawn on camera. But this is also something that needed to be shared because, wow, just wow. So, stunning video of Epstein being asked if he's been with Trump and women under 18. And I can't play the video for you on live here, but I will share the transcript with you. The Trump administration's attempt to bury the so-called Epstein files is now in its third week, and it just keeps heating up and going up. Midas Touch founder and host Ben Misalis, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, has been doing his part to turn up the heat, blah, 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 by digging up clips, yada, yada. On Wednesday night, just after the new bomb, the Attorney General Pam Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files in May, which was a piece that was dropped in the Wall Street Journal. Midas Touch posted a clip from March 17th of 2010, and it was a deposition that had been previously recorded. I don't know if this is the first time that we're seeing it, though. I don't think this was in public conscious or public eye, really. And let me actually show you. This is the post here. It's kind of sorry, hold on. This is the video here. It has 3.5 million views. 3.5 million views. And that was at the time that I took my screenshot this morning, so it could be more. But the transcript goes like this. So, watch Jeffrey Epstein plead the 5th, the 6th, and the 14th Amendments. So, the interviewer says, "Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?" Jeffrey Epstein then responds saying, "What do you mean by personal relationship, sir?" The interviewer says, "Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump?" Jeffrey Epstein goes, "Yes." Then the interviewer says, "Yes?" And then Jeffrey again said, "Yes, sir." Then they said, "Have you ever socialized with Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18? And then Jeffrey says, "Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights." So, by Donald Trump's own language, if you're innocent, why are you taking the 5th Amendment? he said this about Hillary Clinton and her email server, whatever that whole thing was. Honestly, like, I don't care so much about that per se. If the Justice Department feels the need to prosecute her, go ahead. I don't care. It's Hillary Clinton. Sorry. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. But that all being said, like, in Donald Trump's own words, if you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? And by the way, it is known that Jeffrey Epstein has taken the Fifth Amendment on literally like almost about 500 times within his depositions, within being prosecuted. And now, to be fair, he was, every single time that he was asked about people under the age of 18, he would then often say, you know, I'd love to answer, though I'm taking the 5th or the 6th and 14th. Though it's notable with him saying that he wants to take the 5th when then asked about the presence of underage women with Donald Trump. Because, like, there are so many... Donald Trump fits the character of someone who is a pedophile. Who's a creep. Okay? I mean, we have so much evidence to show that already. I don't know how many times I have to share this information. And, like, the reason why this is such a big story right now is that this was a self-imposed thing. MAGA was all about trying to disclose the Epstein files because they only thought it would hurt Democrats. Look, it hurts powerful people that are sex criminals everywhere. That's not exclusive to Democrats. And guess what? Democratic voters were not going to bat away from wanting to expose that corruption too. But the reason why this is such a big story and the reason why a lot of people are hanging on to this is because I think MAGA finally is now realizing it's not just Democrats. The conspiracy is not that it's a cabal of Democratic people. It is a group of high-up elites that think that they're too wealthy to be prosecuted. And they think that they're so above the law. The idea of it just being a group of Democrats is crazy. But yet that's what MAGA chose to believe. That's what they wanted to believe. This, as the reality, is flying in the face of their desired beliefs. And that is why this is such a big story. Because it exposes MAGA's hypocrisy in real time. So, anyway, that all being said, this stunning video, it really just continues to highlight the massive amounts of connections that Trump has to Jeffrey Epstein. And again, the video that was released by Midas Touch has 3.5 million views as of the time that I took a screenshot about an hour ago. And the transcript goes like this. The interviewer says, "Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?" Jeffrey Epstein responds, "What do you mean by personal relationship, sir?" And then the interviewer says, "Well, have you ever socialized with him?" Jeffrey says, "Yes, sir." "Yes, sir." And then the interviewer goes, "Have you ever socialized with Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18? Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments. Rights, sir." So, I mean, again, in Donald Trump's own words, why are you taking the 5th Amendment if you're innocent? That's his own words. That's his own words. Now, I also want to get to some other comments here. This person said, "Unmasking the true culprit," and it's Obama pointing at Trump. Because it's funny because Trump is constantly trying to, like, distract his base with, like, oh my God, Obama, he's guilty. And this is the thing. MAGA, Trump thinks that you're dumb. He thinks that you are intellectually lazy. He thinks that you are so gullible that he is going to, like, and this is the oldest trick in the book. If you have a powerful figure that has a lot of wealth, status, privilege, power, and there are a lot of people that are starting to hold that people accountable and highlight the corruption of that person, you know what they try to do? They try to shift the narrative and find a common enemy. They're like, oh yeah, Barack Obama bad, right? You all thought Barack Obama bad, so we're all gonna go back to Barack Obama bad. He is so irrelevant. Bless his heart. Barack Obama is probably, he was on a podcast talking about ketchup the other day. Dude, Barack Obama is so irrelevant right now. It's so irrelevant. We don't need to talk about him. He's not like, where is he at? That all being said, like, you know what is relevant? Our current president being very, very close friends, if not the best friend of the biggest sex trafficker that was prosecuted, and whose death is still the subject of many questions that are unanswered. So, like, sorry, no amount of distraction is going to take away from that. But then also, Trump thinks that the American public, but particularly his MAGA supporters, are so dumb that y'all are going to fall for it. And guess what? You're proving him right if you decide to stop talking about Epstein. Like, Donald Trump, he is a master at deny, deflect, distract. That's his, like, MO. That's his MO. Donald Trump is not good on the defensive. If you ask him about a scandal or some sort of bad policy, you know what he immediately does? He immediately, instead of defending his ideas, he just goes on the offensive. You're fake news. You're all wrong. You're radical crazy, leftist liberal, Democrat socialist. You know, you're just discussing America. You're looting America. You're doing awful things to it. Let me tell you, you're in line with some dangerous people. He immediately, instead of actually answering questions, he denies, deflects, and distracts. So instead of addressing and standing up for himself, what he does is he immediately just pivots. And so far, if you're someone who's intellectually lazy, or maybe we're not cultivated to be a critical thinker, you'll fall for that. Take an example in your own personal life. Let's say that your friend is like, hey, I saw that you took the last cookie in the cookie jar, and then you say, no, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. You know, that was in fact Candace. That was Geraldine. That was Tabitha. That was Rick over there. Rick is a dangerous guy. And you're like, but I have video of you doing it. I don't know what you saw, but let me tell you, it was them. It was them. It was them. Deny, deflect, and distract. That's what Trump does. And the people that fall for it are the ones that aren't given the power to have their autonomy or critical thinking to see past that charade. It's like a powerful king being questioned on the corruption of his kingdom. Oh, thanks, Ginger Monster. And he thinks that his subjects are so stupid that they'll be distracted by that kind of thing. And so far, if you're someone who is like these Republicans that fall for it, you're proving him right. And look, it doesn't matter who it is or their partisanship or anything. Don't let politicians try and shape what you think is important. Politicians work for us, not the other way around. So, continuing on here, I want to also share this was funny. I was scrolling through looking at the comments on that video, and I saw this. This person says, you have to be a dumb mother effer to believe that Donald Trump had anything to do with Epstein. Excuse me, but like, what? He's like, you have to be dumb. You have to be dumb to believe that Trump had anything to do with Epstein. Sweetheart. Trump has more photos with Jeffrey Epstein than like Eric Trump. So it's just funny because like this person then responds, I known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, many of them on the younger side. That was a quote from an article in 2004 in USA Today. And then this person posts, good work, comrade. And it's Trump saying, attention to all my supporters. It's only a matter of time before I'm linked to Jeffrey Epstein and you have to get ready and defend pedophilia and rape publicly. Oof. And then this person also put forward this graphic here where it had, I think this is supposed to be like E.T. Anyway, So this video that was posted by Midas Touch, I encourage that you go and actually watch it yourself. It has about 3.5 million views as of the time I took the screenshot this morning. And it's basically Epstein being asked about his relationship with Trump. And then, have you socialized with him? He said yes. Have you socialized with Trump in the presence of women under the age of 18? And he said, I plead the fifth. Now, to also be very, very fair, he pled the fifth so many times. He exercised his rights to not speak on that several times whenever it was stuff brought up about underage women. So for us to think that it's only like a Trump thing, don't think that. But also, let me also just share that, like, Trump had hold on, where is it? Hold on. The video is racking up hundreds of thousands of views on social media, but this was a part of a deposition in a 2016 Vice article that also contained the contents of a phone book that the FBI possesses. It also includes a lot of these powerful people, and that includes Prince Bandar of Saudi Arabia, Tony Blair, former Utah governor and Republican presidential candidate John Huntsman, Senator Edward Kennedy, Henry Kissinger, David Koch, but also all these names were listed alphabetically in Epstein's telephone book, along with the name of Trump's former wife, Ivana, also his daughter Ivanka, and his brother Robert. But to really drill this all down, Epstein created a number of categories, including one called Jeffrey. There are dozens of names in the Jeffrey category, including Alan Dershowitz, Senator John Kerry, George Mitchell, but Trump was also listed in this section. Under his name were 14 phone numbers. Donald Trump was in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book, which is like a book of telephone numbers. Now, I'm a younger guy. I'm like I'm a zillennial, so I'm like on the cusp of millennial and Gen Z. But like, I do know what the little black books are. They have basically it's a phone book, personally, that you have like people's names and then their phone number. In Jeffrey Epstein's little book, he had 14 phone numbers for Trump. This is all information that was given during a 2016 deposition when he was first being like prosecuted and stuff. So all that being said, like, the connections that Donald Trump has to Jeffrey Epstein are just numerous. I mean, they're endless. That's not to say that there are not other connections between Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein or other Democratic politicians. Sure. But the reason why this is such a big thing that we're talking about is that Democrats were not selectively choosing only prosecute like Republicans. We're not doing that. We're saying prosecute everyone. Hold everyone accountable. It's MAGA that has this idea that, or some MAGA, I should say, that has this idea that Donald Trump is somehow innocent. If it was the other way around and it was Biden that had any of the evidence backed up behind him, MAGA would be screaming for him to be not just locked up, but like maybe even further. Like, just throwing that out there. So if you really look at the situation, this is a moment for America to come together behind a shared cause. So like, this is Donald Trump covering up for one of the biggest scandals in American history. And look, I want to before I end the live stream today, I want to also share Clinton went to the island 26 times. Yes. And that's the thing. You ask Democrats if Bill Clinton is like guilty or liable or should be prosecuted for this. You're not going to have Democrats be like, "Oh, no, like that's fine." We're like, "Great. Hold him accountable. Lock him up." Like, Democrats are not going to cover for Bill Clinton. We don't have the same amount of like blind loyalty to our leaders as I think Republicans do. And this is where I say loyalty does not belong in politics. It doesn't. You don't need to just be loyal to someone. Politicians work for us, not the other way around. They work for us. We vote them in there. They're not entitled to our vote. They're not. They don't deserve our blind trust. If/when I ever run for Congress, I don't want you to just be like, I know Scott, I'll just trust him. No. Hold me accountable. Be like, are you fighting for the platform that you ran on? Are you advocating for what I think is important? Like, politicians, that's where it's like, they're not entitled to a vote. They're supposed to earn your vote. Like, they work, think of it as renewing the work contract of an employee. That's what Congress is like. That's what the Senate is like. Don't just vote for those people, or don't just support Trump. Oh, because that's what my identity is staked up in. Don't put all your eggs in the basket of forming a partisan identity as a way for you to fit into a group. Don't do that. Think critically for yourself. Look at the facts, look at the evidence, and be like, you know, if it was the other way around, would I feel the exact same? Otherwise, you're just a convenient partisan cog in the machine for a politician's power. Cool. Anyway, but I have to get going, but I wanted to share all of that information first. I have to get to work. I love all of you so much. Y'all are incredible, even if you don't like me. Feel free to go check out my past live streams as well, where I talk about this kind of stuff. And I also have some other videos posted. Shout out to my amazing moderators that also do fantastic work maintaining this space. I could not do any of this without them. Cantisa, Joanna Tech, Elisa, Ellie, Kate, Akicha, Cherie, Jenny. I love all of you, and I could not do any of this without you all. Ellie. So anyway, definitely go check that out. I love all of you so much. Just remember that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are valid, you are strong, and you are fierce. Also, make sure that if you enjoyed the live stream, smash that subscribe button and send some likes. Don't let anyone or anything ever dim your shine. Oh, love you too. Lexa Pro and Ritalin. That's a fun name. I love you all so much. Bye.